Atlas Athena review in progress. All you guys that want me to be shooting reasonably priced pistols and talking about those, very sorry, but this is what I have on tap this week that I've been shooting the most, and that is, like I said, the Atlas Athena. You can see here this example I've got full black. It's got the medium flat trigger. It's got the optic mount for the 507 comp. One little change it has over the normal guns, and I'll talk about it more, is the grip has been sanded down. And then I have the smaller magazine well option on here, which is fine for me right now. Now, so far shooting the gun, I've shot it well over 5,000 rounds. I think 7,500 rounds now on the gun in total. It hasn't had any problems, so keeping it, 2011 things, right? If it's lubed effectively, it's going to run. It doesn't really need to be clean to run, but I guess the experience is a little bit better, because it when it feels dirty, I guess it feels a little bit slushy, but the gun does still function so long as it's lubed. In the time shooting the gun, I've done classes. I think I've done 10 classes with it, or maybe no, not 10 classes, 10 days. So like 5 classes, maybe 6 classes, something like that, where I've used it as my gun. And like I said, haven't had any problems with it. The gun has been good so far. As far as using it, I'm trying to take what I've learned shooting the Titan, kind of the sister gun to this one, and have, the best experience possible, really. So I would say the way I've been using it is I've just been attentive to it every day, not necessarily cleaning it or lubricating it every day, but every day I'll take it and look at it and decide what I want to do. Field stripping it every 1,000 rounds, wiping it down, maybe adding some lube. That's been good. I took the extractor out once, cleaned out the top end of the gun, which was not very dirty, with a relatively low round count on the gun. I was actually pretty surprised how little carbon works its way into the extractor channel. Same as on the Titan. I took that one apart at 12,000 rounds, and the same. I was like, there's not that much kind of gunk in here for the round count. And like I said, shooting it that way, I like being a little bit attentive to the gun. I've had a good experience using it. Now, it's not the same as a Glock, of course, where you don't really have to be attentive to it. This gun, it works best when you, again, pay attention to it as you're using it, especially the type of use case that I'm doing is, what is it, Wednesday or Tuesday? Sunday, I shot 1,200 rounds through this gun. Monday, I shot 800 rounds through it. Again, shooting at high volume, practicing, working stuff out with it. It has been very, very good as far as functioning properly. But again, your best experience you're going to have is if you just take a look at it every day, before you shoot it. That wouldn't be a problem for most of you. All right, so things that I really like about the gun. First, to me, the star of the show is the feel of the gun in the hand, the grip and safety. We've got these Atlas 45 degree 2011 safeties. Most people have the shielded ones. They order that. I did not opt for that because I never feel my thumb touch the slide, so I didn't really want the shield on there. I didn't think that was important. And then the feel of the grip, it's this texture, everything. It's about as good as you're gonna do. I don't think there's anything else that I would be much happier with, if at all. It's again, this just feels really nice. It doesn't beat up my hand. It's excellent. Now, that having been said, the factory configuration for these grips, for me, it's not really usable. Okay, I think I said at the beginning, I had mine sanded down. So they make them, they're really aggressive. And then I think before mine was finished, again, they just knocked the edges off of this aggressive texturing. To me, that makes all the difference in my enjoyment of the gun. I would not like shooting this gun, but for that change that they made before it was sent to me. For example, I had one guy show up, another Atlas shooter, shooting a Titan or something, show up for a class, and he just, in terms of round count, he just didn't have a lot of round count. He had the gun, he's really into it, dry fire, practicing all that. He just live fire, high round count training like this guy just didn't have experience with it. And I was like looking at it, his grips, he had the normal grips on his, and I was like, bro, this is going to be rough. It's going to be a long day. And sure enough, 350 rounds in, like he's taping up his hands and everything. And it just becomes very uncomfortable to really train with the gun if you have the factory grip. So I'm extremely happy with this gun that the grips got shaved down, and they go from something that to me, again, it's like not really usable for the way I want to use the gun. Training with it all day, not that much fun. If you're just going to shoot 6 stages in a day and you want the gun to stick to your hand without you having to work that hard, that's kind of who those grips are for. Not so much for me. All that having been said, like right now, this gun it's doing the things that it's supposed to do, which is a well-built 2011 for competition shooting nerd purposes. Oh, we should talk about the trigger. The trigger is something that I mean, not just this, but like a lot of people, I wish they did triggers like this. So this to me is a racy trigger on a gun that I actually like. Typically, I don't like really racy triggers, and that's because most people that modify their guns, they just focus on the poundage. They focus on getting the poundage number as low as they can, so it takes very little force to set off the gun. That's just where it is for most people. What I like about the way this trigger's set up is you can see there's a little bit of take up here. There's a firm wall, as firm as it's going to be when the trigger's like 1.75 pounds, right? But a little bit of take up, firm wall, not much movement. The gun goes off, and then I can feel that reset. The reset's not super sharp compared to maybe, I don't know, some sort of a production pistol with a really aggressive trigger reset spring. It's not super sharp, but it's definitely sharp enough that I can feel what's going on with it. Like to me, the trigger on this, it's really racy and really good feel. So for me, I like using it. Like the usability is there. And again, it's not just that it's light, it's that it's like actually good. Yeah, so there we are. It's kind of speeding towards, I think, what's going to be a positive conclusion with this gun. Not that that's going to surprise anybody. The question for the people who would look at something like this is this the perfect one? Is it the best one for me? That kind of stuff. I don't know. It's going to come down to some preference for people, like with real specific nuanced things like the grip or the way the slide's cut or whatever. But for me, like I said, the gun is doing all the things that it is meant to do, and I'm pretty happy with it. A lot of you guys like numbers, so I can give you a little numbers perspective here. If I set up 3 targets at 25 yards, just USPSA targets right next to each other, let's say if I'm shooting those with a Glock, there's like a kind of a rhythm to it. Draw the gun, like boom, 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 boom. I see the sight track back in. If I do a nice efficient draw, my hands connect to the gun perfectly, and the sight goes right to the middle. It'd be like boom, 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 like that. There's a time to it. Like I said, a rhythm to it, how the gun moves and everything. And if I'm shooting like the natural rhythm of the gun and everything, and being really diligent with my grip, I shoot those targets like about 3 seconds at 25 yards, like about. What was fun shooting the, or maybe 3.5 seconds, I don't know. But what was fun shooting the Athena under the same circumstances, shooting the same times, but I've added an extra target. So instead of 3 targets, I'm shooting 4 targets. Instead of 6 rounds, it's 8 rounds, and I will easily shoot the same time with an Athena. Like that to me, I thought was just like, yeah, that's cool. That's pretty interesting. Compared to other sort of like high-end or high-dollar guns, the Athena is less soft than a Staccato XC. It feels faster, but it's more violent at the same time. Right? It's like feels stable but violent. It's kind of a weird comparison to that gun. It feels more violent than the Titan, for example. Not quite as stable, but it also feels faster than the Titan. So here, there it is. The Athena review in progress. I mean, what were you expecting? It's a very expensive gun, so it better be good, right?